Hi everyone, and welcome to my second devlog of Yaikomon. These past 2 weeks I've been working mostly on UI stuff. I started off coding this setting selection controller, but I'm sorry guys, while you see me code, you might notice that I'm using a light theme. It keeps me awake, but yeah, I understand it might offend a lot of you out there. But yeah, this setting selection controller, you basically pass an index to it and it will save that index and maybe send out a game event based on that index. I'm trying to save it with the Easy Save 3 package. It's not quite working yet, but I at least learned how to do it, kind of. But I use that, for example, to save the user language setting, which, by the way, I'm using i2 localization package for. It's a very useful package. I'm not sponsored by them, but it's really nice. You can add every language you want. They have a script that changes the text based on the user's current language. And the text then uses some terms which you can translate in all kinds of different languages. And it even auto-translates it for you, which is really nice. And then all the text data can be synced to a Excel sheet, which you can then pass maybe to a translator. And it can both read and write from it, so you can also update from Unity to the Excel sheet. But yeah, that's been really nice to work with. I also worked with the Easy Cloud package to work on my Firebase authorization. And I made it so that when you log in or you've registered an account, it automatically switches the scene to the game scene. And vice versa, when you log out, it switches to the menu scene where you can log in. So yeah, that's been pretty useful. But the big thing I struggled with the past 2 weeks was definitely UI scaling. This is something I had before in projects found really difficult to handle. It's because I had the specific type of look I wanted, where I want the UI to be mainly based on working with portrait mode, but I also want maybe PC support or tablet landscape mode support. And for that, I want when the screen scales in width, I want it to keep its width when it reaches a certain size. And it works like this, where once it reaches a certain aspect ratio, it sets the content size fitter to take the layout element's preferred size. And this makes it so that even on very wide screens, the important stuff will always be in the middle and has a maximum size to which it can stretch. It's kind of hacky, there might be better ways to do this, but yeah, it works, so I'm keeping it. By getting to know the Unity UI components and with my own setting selector, I combined that with a tab controller to which you can assign both tab buttons or tab windows. And basically it will add automatically all of the child objects of both the buttons and the windows and assigns each button at the same index to the window at the same index. And you can do it in other ways too. For example, you can make a script decide which tab index you want, so you don't have to use buttons. So yeah, that way it's pretty modular, which is nice. And I use that to make this basic setting screen, as you can see. But it will be useful for a lot more than that. Also inventories, player stats, just every window that you're gonna open. And also, for example, for this battle UI, where the battle system can decide which battle window to show based on the battle state. And that's also something I worked on, as you can see. I made all these different windows with all these different buttons that you can use to, do the battle basically. And also made the art for everything. You've been seeing that art get made on screen. I'm very happy with it. It gives a nice fantasy feel I'm looking for. Also configured the move buttons to show all the relevant information you need. And for that, and also for the creatures, I made these type icons. It's 6 types. It's the ones that will be in the first version of the game, definitely. That's a normal type, the earth type, the wind type, the fire type, water type, and the plant type. Also in the battle, I got the stats working on top of the creature. Only for the player creature right now, which I'm looking into why it's not working for the enemy. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, you click the spawned creature and it passes a base scriptable object to the battle system. And that contains all the sprites, all the stats, everything you need to know. That gets set to this creature stats window. I also made a really big timer bar as well as a health bar. The health bar basically takes a new health value from taking damage or healing. It replaces the current slider value with that, and then based on if it's subtracted or added health, based on the old health basically, it adds this cool heal or damage impact effect. And then, after getting all the local UI stuff done, it was time to move to the hard Firebase stuff, which I was really struggling hard with. I wrote some nice cloud functions, and I wanted to use the Easy Cloud package to call the function from one of my scripts. But as often happens in development, I got a very nondescript error, which I spent 4 hours trying to solve. It basically just said internal, and I couldn't find anything online about it. So yeah, I spent a lot of time debugging, Googling, asking ChatGPT, but eventually I figured out what it was. I am deploying my functions in Europe, and the default instance of Firebase is in USA. But after that, it worked, and it was really satisfying. It just gave me some text, and that doesn't seem like much. It isn't much at all, it's just literally one string. But connecting Unity to Firebase, calling an online function, and getting data back, that will be the entire backend of my game. So it was really stressful. I couldn't get it to work for so long, and I got such a weird error. But yeah, now that it works, it gives me way more confidence. And in those 4 hours it wasn't totally a waste. I did learn a lot more about cloud functions and Firebase. For example, afterwards I quickly wrote a function that calls when you start the battle, which creates a creature battle collection. It creates a document in it that's named after the user ID that calls the function. And inside the document, it adds a variable with the creature ID of the player's creature, which is also passed through Unity. But yeah, that worked so quickly was really nice, because writing and reading from the database will be a lot of what the game will be about. And with this working, I can get a whole lot more progress in the next 2 weeks on the battle. Hopefully get something that actually moves, that actually plays. So that's making me very happy, very excited that the online game is actually online. But yeah, that's it guys. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more bi-weekly devlogs. Please leave a like to support the channel. Join the Discord if you want to get closer to this development process. And hopefully see you all next week. Peace.